We're live. It's just the Joann show today.
But I think Josh is going to join me.
I am.
He's not going to leave me here by myself.
I'm not.
Because you never know what'll happen then.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Someone had mentioned that they had to turn the volume up, so I wanted to make sure that we're cranked up. So give us throughout this, if you can't hear us or there's any issues, please just
let us know.
We're right here. I will either look at you on the phone or I'll get my iPad running so we can see it. Oh boy.
It's thread day here at the shop.
We got some thread to talk about today. Well, before we jump into that, our first Tula Pink club was awesome. We had 13, 14, I don't know. It was a great turnout. There was a little 7-year-old named Olivia who was there, and she didn't really know who Tula Pink was, but she was so excited about sewing. And I said, "Oh, do you need to learn how to use your sewing machine?" She goes, No, I know how to do that.
Oh, wow.
She was so confident. It was great. So like the
you gotta love those 7-year-olds.
I'm telling you, I love kids who are excited about sewing. So it was fun. So it was a success, I would say. So I'm excited.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
That was the first class club thing of 2023. So off to a good start. Good morning, Cindy. Good morning. Oh, let me get it up over here. So anything new with you?
No, while you're getting
fun
that
jokes
up,
or anything you want to start with?
Not today.
Okay.
One of the things I did want to mention, though, is if you happen to be one of those people that likes to, start out the year all organized, I just wanted to mention that there is a YouTube site called Just Get It Done Quilts. And Karen Brown is the one who is on that all the time. She interviews interesting people. She's got great information. She does all kinds of neat stuff. But during the month of January, she does a day-by-day, get your sewing area cleaned up and organized and ready to sew for the year. It's very well done. It's done in like 15-minute increments, so you're not spending your whole day, your whole week, your whole month trying to get things together. It's done in a very manageable way, and she's great. So I just wanted to pass that along. That's Just Get It Done Quilts, and she's just a great person to watch anyway.
Awesome. Just Get It Done Quilts on YouTube.
On YouTube. And she's got a whole slew. She's been doing it for several years now, so she's got a whole bunch of different videos that are just really good.
Awesome. Quilt Talk, sponsored by Just Get It Done.
Just Get It Done Quilts. I'm not paid to say this.
No, right. Okay, cool. Well, I love, there's so much content out there for the sewing industry.
There certainly is.
For embroidery, for quilting, whatever. I mean, Facebook has been overrun with quilters, which is so funny because now Instagram is more for sharing photos with family and friends. Right. At least for me, I'm speaking. But Facebook is for cut up and sew, and there's so many. It doesn't matter what sewing machine you have. Most likely, there's a group for it.
Oh, more than one.
More than one, yeah.
For each one.
So I hear people all the time. I ask them, "Do you follow us on Facebook? Do you watch Quilt Talk?" I don't do Facebook, too many ads. And I'm like, okay. And Cindy, you know what I'm talking about because we've had this conversation in our Serger Club. It's like, well, okay, so block, delete, ignore, but it's worth it for the knowledge and the camaraderie. I don't know, just the information. The
information is invaluable. And I know for me, I follow one for my Bernina and I follow one for my long arm, and I get a lot of great information on the long arm one, especially, how people have dealt with different issues that they've had and how they figure things out. And, it's just a great opportunity to really fill your head with some knowledge that's pretty valuable.
I agree. If you have a problem and we're closed and you go, I can't figure out what's wrong, my machine's giving me this error message, somebody on Facebook has had the exact same issue and has the answer.
And they're probably watching at that very moment.
They're waiting for you. So don't be afraid of the social media. That's my 2 cents anyway. Okay, so before we jump into thread, do not forget, if you haven't got your passport, we actually did sell out of passports, but I've got more on the way. So if you didn't get one, call us and we will let you know as soon as they get here. You can go, in fact, you'll probably have to prepay because I think we were only allowed to have 10 more because we are at capacity.
Oh.
This shop hop has sold almost completely out. It's awesome. So January the 14th, this Saturday, right? Yeah, this Saturday is when it starts. And it goes through the 21st. We are going to be open on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Sunday the 15th. Well, because there are people that are doing the shop hop that travel. So we're going to be open from 12 to 4 on Sunday the 15th, this Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize there was a limit. I hadn't even bought a passport yet.
Because we had to have, I know a guy. So
that's what I'm thinking. I know a guy. I can get this.
That's right. You got the hookup. Because they had to print this fabric because we took photos. They only made, and it's not, they made a lot. It was like 800, 700, I don't know.
Wow.
It was a ton. So, yeah. Good morning, Danielle. And then Cindy said something. I don't want to, such a great way to keep connected, to find inspiration and help. Amen.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Cindy knows what's up. That's right. Good morning, Terry. Okay, so shop hop, the passport's $7. If you haven't got one, let me rephrase that. I know that I'm saving 2 for Beverly. So I have, and if you're getting one, let's say 7. I have 7 left.
6, because I'm getting 2.
6 left. See, they're going fast. Literally only 6 left. So call me at 10 a.m. You can call now and leave a voicemail or comment here, but you'll have to pay ahead of time, and we'll save you one. So, but I'm excited about that. We're going to have giveaways and specials and door prizes, and I think we're doing it to where as soon as you come in, you get a ticket for, because and I don't have the quilt here, but we are raffling off our quilt.
Oh.
Each shop is raffling off their quilt. So
awesome.
you come in, you're going to get a raffle ticket for showing up with your passport. And then if you spend $25, and this is at each shop, you get a second entry. So you're allowed 2 entries.
And who doesn't spend $25?
I know. We're going to make it very difficult for you not to spend $25 because we've got some really cool stuff. So I'm excited.
Okay.
Very, very excited. I guess also, before we jump into, let's remind people now that did we have this up last time?
I think we did last time.
Okay.
So the first week I showed this, I showed just kind of how this goes together with using the half square triangles to make an hourglass that you cut up and you make into this quilt. And this is the other one. This is the sister quilt. You start out the very same way with both of these. And it's just a fun quilt to make, and I hope you'll join us. This is the Friday class. It starts this week.
That's right.
And
this Friday, the 13th.
Right, Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, how could I forget that? Friday 13th. So I'm excited, and I think in the class description you even said if you wanted to do, it's up to them. Kind of which direction they go with it.
You can, and in reality, there's a couple other ways that you can put this together. I think there's 4 or 5 at this point that different options for putting it together. So it's always fun to kind of find out what people are going to do and how they're going to put theirs together and how it's going to be different and how each one of the quilts will be a little different than the others, not just because of the fabric, but because of the design you come up with.
That's right. Artistic license. I say it all the time. Do what you want with it.
That's right.
Which I love these. So if you want to make this exact quilt, one of these, you can do that also. I hear people all the time like, I don't have the creative whatever. I love this. I want to make that. And that is perfectly okay.
Yep, that's right.
So
makes it easier for me.
And she would take that as a compliment. Oh gosh, where to start? Where to start with thread? Okay, so I guess, good morning, Mary. Mary, where do we start? Okay, so thread is a conversation that we have on a daily basis in the shop. And it primarily goes with, I'm doing this, what thread do I use? I mean, and it's a
Great
hard
question.
Well, I don't know if there's the right answer though. And my answer usually goes, use whatever you think is pretty, whatever you want, whatever you like, unless you're going to microwave it. Because polyester will melt. So I think the way that, and I'm not an expert on the making of fabric. I need to get more knowledge about it. But I think the quality of fabric made today is different than what it used to be. So you don't have to necessarily use cotton on cotton. And you know what I mean? And so there used to be a handful of rules, and people said, okay, well, I need serger thread to put in my serger. Not anymore.
Oh, really?
No, because sergers are also made different, and you could put a 12 weight thread in your serger. You could put a 50 weight. It really, and people used to buy the big spools in sergers because that's serger thread.
Nobody ever wanted to rethread that serger.
Very true. Air threaders did not exist. But also, it's changed to where now the mentality, and Wonderfil's really great about pushing this, if you're doing multiple projects, why would you buy all the big spools? You're changing colors so frequently. Use the small ones. Use what you already have. So sure. I think that the thread rules have kind of gone away or changed. Now, I've heard some people talk about the mechanics of cotton when quilting. I don't know what's right and what's wrong, but I mean, do you have an opinion, I guess, or any?
My main opinion on thread is I like a thread that doesn't lint, and I like a thread that is big, so big. I don't have to change it.
Like literally, like the spool size big?
Yeah, because I don't like to change it, and so I use a neutral color thread all the time. And
for quilting? On your long arm, you mean, or just in general?
In general. Okay. If I'm just piecing or working on the sewing machine, I use a neutral color thread. I very rarely change the colors unless there's a real reason for it. I think the color I use is a little bit lighter than this one here. Yeah, that's too dark. But, here, something along these lines as far as a color that is really going to go with everything. And
makes sense.
And what else? So I'm real basic on my thread. I prefer a polyester. I started using the polyester for a couple of reasons. One, because good friends of mine who were expert quilters that's what they were using, and so I thought if they're using it, I should use it. And the other reason was it was a whole lot cheaper than cotton, and I didn't have the strong desire, that a lot of people will say, well, you have to use cotton because it's going on cotton fabric and you have to use cotton thread. Right. And, that's a personal preference. If that's how you feel, by all means, there's cotton thread and use it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I'll never tell you, no, you can't do that, or that's wrong, unless you're microwaving it.
Yes, unless you're
or embroidering. Now, there are some embroidery rules. You wouldn't stick a 12-weight cotton and in your embroidery machine. It's not going to like it. But other than that, for the most part, I'll never tell anybody that you're wrong. Choose what color you're looking for. I noticed you used a variegated thread in this, which is fantastic. I'm glad you didn't use neutral in this gorgeous quilt.
Yeah, no, and I tend in quilts I tend to use color. I just because that's what I like.
Cindy says I use silver colored cotton for piecing. There you go.
Yeah.
And good morning, Mary D. and Joan. I didn't say hi to you yet. Good morning. So what threads do we carry? I guess I'll start there. It's impossible to carry all of them because there's so much good thread. When I was in Louisville, Kentucky, we carried Isacord, and we carried Orifil, and we carried something else. I can't remember. I moved down here, the shop had Exquisite thread and Wonderfil products mainly. And so I started playing, and I don't know if you've heard me say this enough or if you've figured it out. I pretty much buy what I want, what I like.
That's your prerogative because you're the owner.
Yeah, but I do listen, and I say that jokingly, but if there's a certain type of thread that I hear a lot about Glide recently, so I'm looking into getting Glide because
a lot of people
are asking for it. Well, I'm not crazy, okay? if enough people ask for it, I'll get it. But truthfully, I don't know enough about all the thread, and I don't know much about Glide. So I started playing with the Exquisite because I love embroidery. And coming from Isacord, I was like, I'm a little bit snobby. I got my Isacord, which my Bernina people know what I'm talking about. Exquisite, I honestly can't tell the difference. And it's $2. I've never had that happen before. My wife was calling in the middle of the show. You'd think it would decline it.
She just doesn't know who you are.
She doesn't know we're working here. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, Isocord and Exquisite. We carry Exquisite. You can hold that up, yeah. This is one of their kits. It was one of their spring collections. It's made by Dime embroidery products, which are phenomenal. We do a lot of virtual Dime classes and all sorts of stuff. And the Exquisite is awesome. It's got a nice shine to it. The color options are phenomenal. You know, it's $3.99 a spool. It's awesome. So I stuck with it because I did not see a single reason not to.
Well, and from what I understand, I'm not an embroidery person, but the Dime products seem to be pretty quality. There seems to be a lot of quality with it.
For sure. It is Dime embroidery, so they know what they're doing, especially when we're talking about embroidery products. Right. So the Exquisite's great, and I haven't had anybody go, oh, this Exquisite, my machine didn't like this Exquisite.
Yeah.
I guess I probably shouldn't bash certain brands, but certain brands that a lot of people used to carry have changed, and I don't care if you buy a $20,000 sewing machine, embroidery machine, it's 50-50 whether that color of that brand's going to work in it. And there's nothing wrong with the machine. It's something about the dyeing
right.
So this one is something that I love, and we're going to stick with it. Now, that being said, let's see. Aurifil was not here, but I love Aurifil, and I know the quality of Aurifil. So Aurifil we brought in, and it's a cotton. It's an Italian cotton. It's $14-ish a spool. But, you're pro Aurifil.
I like Aurifil. I don't use it a lot because I find a little bit of a lint issue, and I really don't want to see lint in my machine, and so when I do, I stop. But Aurifil is very nice. It works very well. It's the thinness of it is really desirable, especially if you're quilting, because it helps to keep your seams nice and flat as opposed to taking up room in the seam.
So most people actually, and I was kind of surprised to hear that, but most people like the Aurifil because there's no
lint,
fuzz. No lint. So Aurifil's fantastic. It is on the high end. It's a high end product, so it's more expensive. So one of the beautiful things about Wonderfil is they have a huge variety, a huge selection. I'm not going to go through all of them, but
now, are each one of these individual to this specific type of thread?
Yes. So, for example, this is Deco Bob, which we're going to talk about because you've started to play with Deco Bob, and it's awesome. It's phenomenal. But what's nice is these are actually the thread charts, so you actually have the true thread. And I can get any of these cards for anyone. For any of the thread that we have. A lot of people have purchased these. I do have them, the shop copy, but we do have them if you'd like one for your home. Aurifil is my favorite for piecing because of its thinness, and I don't see much lint. Yep, Cindy.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who sees lint.
You're not using Aurifil. That's called Coates and Clark, Joann.
No, it's not. I don't use that.
Okay, I will be a little bit snobby here, and I will bash Coates and Clark. That's the one. Sadly, I have people that come in, and I'm joking about being snobby, but I don't blame anybody. Some people don't know what they don't know. And they come in and they say, my machine is just, when you did it and when your technician sewed on it, it was gorgeous. But when I got home and we look at the thread and I'm like, it does matter. Coates and Clark is pretty much Walmart brand, I think. Maybe Joann's, I don't know. But it's a mass produced, the quality's not great. And you have problems when you're sewing with it. Yeah,
that will lint for everybody.
Yeah,
and it will break. It's not as the long-term use of it. If you're putting it in a quilt or a piece of or a garment of some sort, and you want that to last, the thread may not last as long as the garment does.
Yeah, look what you're making. Wouldn't you want some quality?
Yeah,
materials
spend a lot of money on the fabric. Might as well spend some money on your thread.
And time and effort, and these things are sentimental, or maybe you're doing it for a business. Like, you want it to last. It should matter. So if, let's say Coates is $2.99, I don't know, but let's say it's $3 a spool. Well, for $1 more, you can get Wonderfil's Designer and the level of quality just quadrupled for $1. So see what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to go spend $14 on Aurifil versus your coats, but at least step up a little bit in price, a lot of it in quality.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't really have any method to the madness here. So should I just kind of go through the list of what all Wonderfil and what we offer? Should we kind of do it like that? Well, let's start with Deco Bob. So I was not familiar with Deco Bob. I'd had very few spools, and then actually Debbie Skidmore, shout out to Debbie, started kind of telling me and informing me about it, and she loved it, and so I got some in, sewed with it, loved it. I think you've been recently playing with it. What's your...
I like it. Once again, it's...
And these are the color
the
options.
Deco Bob, the weight of a Deco Bob is 80 weight. And it should be known that not the weight of a thread is not universal across every maker. For example, if you have a 40 weight thread that's a Wonderfil, that may not be the same weight as a 40 weight superior thread. So, it's all kind of weird. But anyway, the Deco Bob is really nice. I use it to piece with. I've used it to actually do some long arm quilting. Not on that one. And it just works really well. The little bobbins, wherever they are, I saw them.
Yeah,
the little bobbins fit in your machine, and they they just last forever. And once again, I don't like to change thread or bobbins. So when you have this bobbin with a ton of thread on it, they just last and last and last. And what else? It works really well. I'm very happy with it. I've used it now I've been using it for probably about 6 weeks.
Awesome. I'll get into pre-wounds in just a minute, but this was the Deco Bob pre-wound bobbins, and we'll talk briefly about pre-wounds and my opinion on that. Before we go to the next one, the weight of thread, just in case. I guess maybe we should educate a little bit. So the camera's not going to be able to pick this up, I don't think, but...
Here, do you want me to take it over there?
Yeah, and I picked a color that's the same color as your quilt, so it's not going to show. So this is Invisifil 100 weight, and you can actually just kind of...
I don't know if you... There, I could see it on the screen. How about you?
There you go.
It's a...
So 100 weight thread versus a 12 weight thread. Which one's bigger, right? Which one's thicker? So
I know.
I was going to try to do, maybe we could do a giveaway, but I want to keep going. So that's not going to be the giveaway test question. The larger the number, 100 weight, for example, the thinner or finer the thread. That's the easiest way, almost like the opposite, kind of like a gauge, a wire gauge. So 100 weight, when we're talking about 40 weight, 50 weight, just keep in mind, 100 weight is teeny tiny. This is called Invisifil because it's invisible almost. So, and I tell you, we're about to do some samples with the threads literally right next to each other so people can visually see it. Because if you sewed with this Invisifil in the ditch or even straight across, you're barely going to see it.
Yeah, you're going to see. I have used it. I can see the thread on there. I would match the colors.
Yeah.
However, really what you see more is the reflection of the quilting, and it's really quite pretty. It's a nice effect.
So I just wanted to make sure that we put that out there, just in case you didn't understand what we were saying when we did the 50 weight.
And you don't have to use 100 weight in your bobbin. You can use like an 80 or 60 weight and still use the 100 weight on in your top thread.
Right. Okay. Hold on. I was looking to start with. Yep. So confetti. All right. We got so much thread here. I can't see. I can't tell what's what. Is that it? Nope, that's a 12 weight. 50 weight, there we go. Okay, so 50 weight cotton. I don't know if they're gonna be able to see this, so maybe I'll just go through
Okay.
list the weight of it, show you the name of it, and just kind of... The point of all this is there's a lot of thread options here, and we have a ton of them. Wonderfill, and we were just talking about this, Wonderfill is really known, and I think they excel in their specialty threads. So they don't really play in the 50 weight polyester world for the embroidery because it's so competitive. But I don't think anyone can touch Wonderfill in their options for specialty thread, whether it's metallics, 12 weights. So 50 weight cotton, if you don't want to spend $14 a spool on Aurifil or whatever it is, at a shop, you can spend a little bit less on something like confetti, which is still going to be high end,
so
really good quality.
These are your cottons over
Egyptian cotton. I mean, it's phenomenal thread. And their color options, and they actually just came out with, I just took training on this, so hopefully nobody from Wonderfill's watching, a bazillion more colors.
Great.
Yeah, quote me on that, bazillion. So a ton of options here with them, and it's really nice. You don't get that lengthy,
So this you would use for your garment? Would you use this when you're
Well, it's 50 weight cotton, so technically you use it when you use Aurifil or when you're using, whenever you want to use it.
Okay.
Except for I wouldn't recommend it for embroidery.
Okay.
That's about...
So the person who's coming in and they want to make a quilt or a dress, whatever, and they're looking at all your thread and they're saying, what do I buy? This would be a good quilt. This would be a good...
We point them we ask them, first of all, because it's hard to sometimes, the signage isn't as big as, there's a lot of thread. And so we ask them, do you have a preference, cotton versus polyester? If they say cotton, then this is where we go.
Okay.
Now, I do mention Aurifil, but this is where we go because we have a lot, our selection is much larger of confetti.
Okay.
Good for piecing. Let's see. Invisifil is also fun for hand applique. Whoa.
Yes, I was going to mention that. And the Invisifil is beautiful for hand applique. It just sinks into the fabric and you don't even see it.
Yeah, and she
so
said
if you're just sort of a marginal applique person like me, Invisifil can make you look really good.
It does hide, if there's no errors when Joann's sewing, though, right? There's no mistakes. But it will help
Maybe
you
one or
hide
two,
some of
but...
those imperfections. And Cindy said it's good for piecing and for those microwave bowls. Yeah, true. All right, this is going to be in no order whatsoever. But, okay, so again, you have the spaghetti. It's a cotton, but it's a 12 weight somewhere. That looks like it. That
looks big.
Nope, that's Razzle. Well, okay, so this is going to be harder than I thought. I should have probably gone ahead and paired them up as we go, but I guess we don't technically need to show you each one. But so spaghetti, let me open this up though. Again, good color choices, lots of options, but you've got a 12 weight Egyptian cotton. So 12 weight, remember, smaller number is a lot thicker.
So what would you use that for?
So things that you want to be seen. Decorative purposes. So this is what I would call specialty thread because it's thread that you want people to see. So you're going to choose your color because it's going to be top stitch on top and used for, in my opinion, a decorative purpose. I can't imagine anyone piecing with 12 weight. It just makes no sense.
It would be awful. One of the things it says, it's kind of nice on the front of this little brochure, it says great for quilting, long arming, stitching, decorative stitches on quilts, wall hangings, clothing, or anywhere that you want your in-your-face look. And I think that's what I would really emphasize on that is you're going to see it. You're going to use it to add to the your whatever it is you're doing, but you're going to see it. And
yeah, you really will. Oh, here it is. And I don't think the camera's going to pick that up, but just even in the spool, you can see the thickness of that thread. I mean, you can literally see it in there. And yeah, new game plan. We're just going to read off the card.
Good idea. And in here, it's kind of cool. They've used it for some decorative stitches up here, and it looks like they've also used it for some sashiko sort of thing. So if you're a sashiko
the
person.
sashiko, yeah.
I think strictly speaking, that's all done in white. I don't really know that, but it looked really, it really looks pretty in that, you know, just basic quilt sashiko type of stitching.
I mean, it's decorative, and that's the whole purpose. Let's see. Good morning, Linda. Should have grabbed those eyeglass cases. Should have grabbed those
Okay, squirrel.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm not sure about that one. All right. So that was spaghetti. I guess there's no need to go in any certain order. So Tootie, variegated thread, which I know this doesn't help you guys, but we've got these in the shop. I'm just showing you this so you can see like the amount of thread options for the most part.
And this is a polyester or cotton. What is it?
So Tootie is, thank you, Joann. Now we're just going to literally read. Well, it's a 50 weight 3-ply Egyptian cotton. So it's cotton, but it's 50 weight. So it's not going to be as thick as the spaghetti. So fantastic for quilting, long arming, thread painting, cotton lace, serger, embroidery, and more. Interesting they put embroidery on there. I'd be curious to see, but there's hand embroidery and things.
Yeah,
that
I think that when you know, especially for those of you who might be doing a lot of the Sue Spargo sort of thing, or the or hand embroidery, where you want your threads, where your threads are very, where you want your threads to show. This would probably be very nice for that.
So Tootie, and boy, it's tough to see the thread on here.
Do you have one of the variegated ones too?
That's what I'm holding actually, which is funny. So I should have picked a darker one, but these are all of variegated. The Tootie line, if you look, Joann, it's all variegated. So what is variegated, just in case? Variegated thread, multiple colors. Now, there's different types of variegated thread. Some of them are going to be even. So where the colors, when you stitch it out, it is an exact same amount of rotating colors. Some are, I guess,
more
random.
Yeah. Personally, I like the random one.
And that's all. It's personal choice. There's no what is better, what's worse, you know. Again, good quality, 50 weight. So you could use this for your standard. Just if you came in and said, I want a variegated cotton, this is the section I'm going to point you at. So Tootie, and these are all Wonderfill. We'll go fast because I realize it's 30 minutes. D-twist, 2 twisted rayon strands, 20 weight. There's 40 color choices. This is just a very specialty thread. It's very pretty. When we get into rayon, I'll be honest with you, not my wheelhouse. I don't really know when to suggest rayon. Joann, do you have much knowledge or
I only know that I don't use it, and I make a point of not using it. And I wish I would have looked it up to find out why I don't use it, because there is a reason. I just don't know what it is.
Fair enough.
Because I made that decision several years ago. I can't remember what the thing on rayon is, but this is really pretty, and it does say that it's for embroidery machines or machine embroidery, quilting, built-in decorative stitches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so to go lightning fast, just so you know, as far as the variegated goes, and I'll just kind of keep all these up. You guys just need to come in the shop and look at our thread selection, and we can sit and have a conversation, and we can pull out the cards. And the cards are nice too, because you're right, it does give you a lot of information and suggestions of when to use it. The Mirage is a 30 weight, random dyed, so there's that random coloring type of variegated thread. Again, a lot of really fun, bright, funky colors. Mirage are these two. So Mirage looks like it's going to have a, it's not metallic though, but it's got like a sheen to it. See, you see that's so pretty. Wow.
Now, is that all variegated?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Fabulux, also almost all variegated, except they have some really cool neon colors. Good morning, Dee. I think I saw you jump on there. I didn't say hello. Good morning, Dee. Yeah, so Fabulux, this is a 40 weight. So, I mean, this is a polyester, but again, specialty thread. The options are almost endless when it comes to Wonderfill.
Yeah, and I think that back to the Mirage, it looks like if you like to do thread painting, it looks like this is a great one for thread painting.
It's got a shimmer to it. It's really cool. I bet you it would
shimmer.
show up really well.
Yes,
yeah.
and it's a 30 weight, so it's a little. You're going to notice that a little bit more.
But you want to see it when you're thread painting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd throw that in because I'm interested in thread painting.
Awesome. And yeah, my apologies for going lightning fast. I honestly just don't want to make an hour video. That's not fair to you guys to sit here and listen to us for an hour. So fruity, another option. This is a 12 weight though. So this is a cotton, it's 12 weight. So again, it's going to be that thicker. You're going to really notice it when you're using it, but this is their variegated 12 weight selection.
Once again, great thread for wool applique. It's got real, it's really pretty for that. And it's just a great one. Also, I was looking at the Fabulux. Now, if you're into if you are a superior thread user, and you've been liking that for a long time, but you're finding it hard to find, this correlates with the Omni thread, their Omni thread, and looks like it would be a good substitute for that if you're struggling trying to find your new thread like I am.
And I'll tell you, the best thing, and I'm not suggesting that you go and spend, tons of money on thread, but get something new and try it out. In fact, I broke it up for the sake of having the show, but we have kits that have, multiple different types of thread in it. So you could buy that little kit or collection and try them all. And really, the only way to know if you like it is to play with it.
That's right.
I mean, you could say this is really pretty, but the way it sews is not my cup of tea. It's difficult, or everybody's going to have their own flavor and taste. So, Spotlight, smooth running and soft to the touch. Runs up to this. They're saying basically, it's metallic thread that you can sew at high speeds with. Now,
so how does that match up with the dime? Which I haven't tried this. I did really like this.
So I think for the sake of the time, what I'll do is you've also got Razzle, you've got Polyfast, you've got Accent, and we've already done Deco Bob. This soft lock stuff is awesome. It's really soft, great for garment sewing, and really funky, fun colors. They've got metallics and all sorts of different sizes and shapes. So Wonderfill is a wonderful thread option because there's so many different things. Metallic threads. So when I said there's no rules, there is no rules, but certain machines, most machines when you're sewing with metallic, don't really love it. It breaks, whatever, so you have to slow your machine way down. Now, shame on me, I have not sewn with Spotlight much, so I can't confidently say you don't have to slow your machine down, because I just don't know. I don't want to lie, I don't want to guess. But what Joann was talking about is this right here, which is the Fujix Kingstar. 100% I can tell you, you don't have to slow your machine down. This is, and no knock to Wonderfill because I love them, but this is the greatest metallic thread that I've ever seen, and I dare to say on the planet. It's made with the silk qualities that they make kimonos with, and so it's not wiry. It's very soft. I mean, you sewed with it. I asked her to do some sewing and give me her opinion, and you did that. In fact, we briefly showed it last time, now that I'm remembering.
Yeah, and I didn't bring it in with me. Yeah, it sewed very nicely. I used it on my long arm, and I didn't change the speed on my long arm. I don't even think I changed the needle and the tension on it, which is always a big deal. So it just worked beautifully.
Yep, and my only complaint about this is I wish there were more colors. There's a handful, don't get me wrong. We have a good selection, but I wish they had as many as, I wish we had a color card's worth because it's that good. It's awesome. We had a thread education class, and Nina Klotfelter came up and she said, give me some metallic because I need to show them how it breaks. Well, before I had known about this, I gave her this and it didn't break. And so that was the first sort of, what's this stuff about?
Okay.
It's phenomenal. So if you're into metallic stuff or you want to start trying some metallic that actually sews nicely and isn't a headache, come get some of that. It's awesome. Glow in the dark thread, we got some of that too. I'll spend 0 time on that, but it literally glows in the dark.
That's right. Fun if you have kids.
Fun for Halloween. Fun if you have a big kid. Fun, yeah. Cotton. Here we go. All right. So this is cool. This is the collection. These are one of the little collections that Dime puts together. And there's all sorts of different color ways. And this one's called Vintage Embroidery Thread. It's 40 weight. Don't get me wrong. It's not vintage. It's not old. It's just, I guess, the color choices were vintage. So the first person on the chat that can tell me the weight of Invisifil thread will get a free...
Oh, wow. Can I play?
No, you cannot. Dime thread collection is what I'll call it, a little thread collection. So, and we've got multiple colors. You don't necessarily have to get the vintage embroidery color selection. There's some that have like pastels and all sorts of fun stuff. So, I almost said it. Invisifil thread weight. The first person in the comments to get that right, you just won a vintage, no, not a vintage, a thread collection. What else before we run out of time? Large spools, not much to talk about. This is the same as a small spool, but there's more thread on it.
Yeah.
So if you're sewing a lot with pink or a certain white or black, it's cost effective to do this. But perfect segue, a lot of people don't have a multi-needle, don't have a big machine, and this doesn't fit on your sewing machine. So what do?
Do you want me to answer
Yeah, what's
that?
the answer?
Okay, so I use a thread, a spool holder, and I put it beside my machine, and I run the thread up, and...
Yep, a thread stand. So shame on me, I didn't have one in stock. We sold them all because we always sell them all. They're insanely popular, but this will sit right beside your machine. You can put the large spool, small spool. The nice thing about thread stands also is that it's taking the thread off the top. Less chances of catching, and it sews really nice. In fact, a lot of machines only have this option, where most thread, I'll just be safe and say most thread should be vertical. And so I recommend using a thread stand, even if you have a perfectly fine spool that goes horizontal.
Yeah.
Thread stands are phenomenal. Now, Wonderfil, back to them, came out with this awesome gadget. Actually, I could probably show the box here. Ultimate thread dispenser. So this is awesome. It fits right on the top of your machine, so you don't have to set it down beside you. Unfortunately, you can't put the large spools on it, but the small spools go right on there. And this is sealed, that's why I can't get it on there. And what's nice about it is it spins. Yeah, if you feel it, the bearings are great. But I should have really done a demonstration. The thread goes through this little up lever here, or little piece here, and it comes off perfectly straight right off of the spool. Morning, Maria. I know we're running long today, huh? Yeah, we're having a party over here talking about thread. So these are awesome, and I've had people try these out because I've wanted their opinions, and I've had nothing but positive feedback. This is awesome. So that is a thread stand option if you don't have the large one that goes next to your machine.
Cool.
Last thing I think, well, there's all sorts of thread stuff. You've got thread, we've talked about this, the Wonder Guard thread wraps, and there is so much stuff. If you noticed, we've been, where did it go? Where's the spools? Here we go. The Invisifil, you notice how it was wrapped with that little guy, and Joann had a hard time getting the thread off of it? Because these spool huggers are awesome. Everybody has spools,
I love those.
And they're laying around and the thread's going all over the floor. You just wrap that around your thread, and then you don't have the thread going everywhere. Did anybody get the answer right? I'm just looking. Good morning, Marie or Mary. Oh, nobody's answered. Good. That means I don't have to give anything away, huh?
Wow.
All right.
I still have the answer. Anyone wants to know it.
Pre-wound bobbins. Last thing we're going to talk about, and with my apologies, I know we just went lightning fast through some of this. I didn't realize how much I brought out, to be honest with you. Do you use pre-wounds?
I do.
Yeah, okay. So do I. I swear by them. I love them. Is there a reason you use them?
I'm lazy.
Okay, fair enough. Me too. So that is my answer also. But here's the deal. Pre-wound bobbins, you cannot wind a bobbin on your machine. I don't care what machine you have or how much it costs. you cannot wind it to where it is as full as a pre-wound bobbin. So they are full to the max. Also, they're being put on perfectly. The tension is even. It's perfect every time, all the way through. Maybe there's a lemon every once in a whatever, but as humans, we make errors, we make mistakes, and machines, when we wind it, we're still, even though the machine is winding it, we are setting it up, leaves room for error. And you've ever noticed it goes up and down and up and down, and one side's thicker than the other. So the tension is not going to be as perfectly even as so I am a huge advocate for pre-wound bobbins. That being said, Bernina has those nice big old bobbins. You can't use them yet.
Oh, that's exciting.
I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with it or not. We just had some training, but they are in the works of making a pre-wound bobbin that fits like the 790, 7 Series Berninas, the big old fat awesome bobbin. So
yeah, that's exciting.
That's a game changer, and I'm excited also.
So these, they last forever. They are perfectly wound, and that really is, it really is big. I really do notice the difference in my seams, in everything about them. I really do like them. The only thing I don't care for is that little plastic bobbin is left at the end, and you know, you can't.
You're not supposed to you don't reuse it.
Yeah,
that
you
is
can't
the truth.
reuse it, and you just.
So people go, oh well, it seems like it's more expensive. I'm wasting money because I'm throwing away the bobbin at the end, and I'm all for recycling, but it's wasteful somewhat. But it evens out because they last a lot longer.
For sure.
So you get more thread on it, and is it worth? You're going to say a lot less curse words, less headaches.
It's awesome, and it's an 80 weight. It's not a.
This is Deco Bob. It is. It's an 80 weight.
80 weight cotton, and I have used other threads with it, not just the Deco Bob, but and it works with everything. I've been real happy with it.
A lot of people use a pre-wound like a Filtech, which is fine, but the Deco Bob is awesome, and I love the 80 weight. Bobbin thread is much. It works much better when it's a finer thread. I'll just say that. I know people have put thicker stuff in it, and it may work fine, but usually you need that fine weight. It just the machine's so much nicer. I just had these because these are for multi-needles, so they're magnetic. So if you are a multi-user or multi-needle user, I highly recommend MagnaGlide, or the magnetic bobbins are awesome. It's a game changer. You can't use them in the domestic machines though.
Yeah, so that's for the big embroidery machines.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Multi-needles. Is that everything?
So now you're either a little bit more in the know about threads, or you're more confused. But whatever it is, you can come in, and whoever's here will be more than happy to kind of talk you through it again if you're interested in buying something different, or doing something different with your thread, or just looking for a thread to sew with.
Yeah,
there's great options here.
There it is. Here's the takeaway. There's a lot of choices, a lot of really fun, funky choices, but they're you need to see them in person, because the colors, this camera doesn't do any justice. And also the way that we had to discuss it, I know it was very fast. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing, but Joann's right. The takeaway is come in and just play. There's a lot of options. Shoot, if you want to sit down on one of our machines and sew on it, just so you can see how it sews, not a problem. But have fun. Thread, there's so much thread out there. Don't be in your little bubble. You know, go and play, have fun with it, because look, all this color.
Yeah. And it's fun to do something new and different.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so, well, nobody said it while we were on. That's all right. The offer still stands. I know that half of the time we don't have a ton of people watching live, but a lot of people go back and rewatch it. So, still, the first person that gets the Invisifil weight correct in the comments.
There it is.
There it is. Oh, look at this. Danielle came through. Danielle, now hold on. This took a little bit. You were delayed. Were you Googling? Which is perfectly fine. I didn't say you weren't allowed to Google. Danielle Sappett. Awesome. Danielle, you got that sweet new overlocker that you've been playing with. I'd be curious when you come in to let us know what kind of thread you're playing with. So congrats. That's awesome. We'll see you soon,
you've
hopefully.
Got the best one yet.
Yeah, that was the best giveaway yet. Okay. I better stop talking because we're going on an hour. So.
All right. Oh, sorry about that. We will see you next week.
next week on Monday, and I don't know what we're going to do next week, so you'll have to just tune in to find out.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, keep us you know, in the loop. If you want us to talk about something, if you didn't like something, if you liked something more, let us know, because that's the only way that we can improve and grow this thing. But we're having fun regardless. So
Yeah, we are.
thanks for hanging out with us. You guys have an amazing week, amazing day. Shop hop, Joann's class, Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th.
Go clean up your sewing room and try some new thread.
There you go. See you guys.